Hi, I'm Martha Jane Brazy. When I'm not giving an Academy Award-winning performance in Hollywood, I'm a history professor here at USA. Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you some helpful tips that you can employ in your history classes as well as in other classes in the humanities. There are two areas that students generally have trouble with. One is note-taking, and what notes should I take? What's a proper way to take notes? And the other is writing essay exams. The tips I'm about to give you cover all of these areas. The main complaint that students have is they just don't simply know what notes to take either during lecture or with textbooks. They feel overwhelmed with too much information. What you need to do is you need to begin to break it down into manageable portions, and one way to do that, either in lecture or with textbook, is to remember the ICE concept. Ideas, concepts and conclusions, and examples. So whether you're in lecture or reading your textbook, look for first the main ideas and concepts and conclusions that either the professor or the textbook are presenting. Textbooks are written in sections. Usually, when you see the bold print beginning within a chapter, that signals a new section. The main ideas are going to be always in the first couple paragraphs right after that, and then the rest of it is just examples. You don't need to know every single example. Just remember one or two, and that should make you more engaged with the material. You won't feel like you're drowning. When taking notes with your textbook, I suggest to my students throw out those highlighters. It is much better to take notes in a notebook, and you're more apt to remember what you're taking as opposed to when you're highlighting. Highlighting makes you think you're doing something, but chances are you won't go back and you're not going to look at it. Instead, look for the main ideas of this section. What are the main concepts and conclusions they're presenting, and then choose one or two examples from the readings that will help support that idea or that conclusion. The same thing with lecture. Your professor is usually going to give you certain verbal cues. For example, they might say, or to illustrate this, or this is significant. When you hear them say things like that, that means that those are the points where you should absolutely be taking notes. So always remember the ICE acronym: ideas, concepts and conclusions, and examples, and you'll be a much more effective reader. That same ICE can be applied to writing an essay exam, which you're going to have to do in your history courses and in other humanities courses. We want to get away from what students, their biggest pitfall, which is making a generalization. And a generalization is a statement and conclusion not backed up by anything. So, for example, a generalization would be, the weather is beautiful outside today, and that's it. But what you need to do is you need to support that conclusion. The weather is beautiful outside today because the temperature is not very high, it's not raining, and it's sunny. And the more you explain those examples, and the more you have explanation of how those examples support the idea that the weather is beautiful, that is a stronger essay. An essay that just has generalizations gets you no more than a C. But an essay where it has examples and you explain how those examples support that idea or concept, that is an essay that's in the B or A range. So remember, ICE it when you're reading, and remember ICE when you're writing your essays. To help you further, not only in your history courses but other humanities courses, the history department offers study skills seminars where these concepts and ideas that I've been talking about are discussed in much more depth. We offer them a couple times a week, and they're open to folks in history classes, but feel free to bring a friend. We don't turn away anyone. To find our schedule of our seminars, go to the history department website at www.usouthal.edu/history and click on Study Skills Seminars. On behalf of the history department, we wish you much success.